Hello and welcome to another edition of Mama's Gone Wild. I'm Nikki Woods.
I'm Mary Boyce.
And today we are tackling the issue of bullying.
Ooh.
Now, you wouldn't know it by who we have sitting next to us.
Right, you wouldn't even think of it.
Who is the lovely Ms. Texas, Belinda Ramsey. Welcome to the show.
Thank you for having me.
You are welcome, but you are not only Miss Texas of 2010, 2011, but you are also the president and founder of Moms Against Bullying.
That is correct.
So tell us a little bit about you. And I mean, I know that I've been watching Toddlers and Tiaras, so I know that this pageant road is a long and can be bumpy one. How did you come to be Miss Texas?
Well, actually, I have a very dear friend who was Mrs. Texas in 2007, and by the encouragement of her, I made the decision to go ahead and do it. She kind of was on me for quite some time before I decided that, I want to do this. I had a great cause, and that had a big part of it as well.
And so bullying was the cause that you built your platform? So why bullying? How did you become interested in bullying?
Several years ago, long before, in fact, it made the media and it got all the attention that it got, I attempted to start M.O.B probably about 10 years ago.
Oh, wow.
Yes. Initially, when I went in the community where I lived, I had a petition signed because I saw an issue still all these years later from when I was a child. This was still going on and it wasn't been tackled. I had a friend who was a part of the school board and had cheered me on and said, if you do it, I'll help you get in. And it sounded really good until I actually got the petition signed and went to her. And then she said, I don't think we actually have a problem here. There was a big problem then. The media was ready, the moms were ready, and the kids who were being bullied were ready. But the ISDs were not ready.
No, were you bullied as a child when you said it stemmed from something from childhood? Were you bullied or did you witness bullying?
I carried the pain of a witness. I saw it going on around me, and I was one of the kids who actually befriended the victim who was being bullied. When no one else would befriend them, I was kind of popular. I was a cheerleader and did all this stuff. And I would always be the one who went to that child and befriended them quietly because, there's a stigma in addition to befriending the bully. It'll turn on you. And I was
that happened
afraid.
to me.
Yeah.
It turned on you?
Yeah. This girl named Donna. Okay, this is a girl named Deborah Whiting. And if you're still out there anywhere, she was a bully in the first grade. And she bullied this girl named Donna, and then I went to help Donna, and then next thing I knew,
the room turned on
what
you.
happens.
Right.
And it does. And Belinda and I had a meeting in the ladies' room, and I was telling her about my situation with my son being bullied, just last year, and the extent that it had gotten to. I was so blown away that so many people knew about this, the things that were going on with my son, but had not bothered to tell me, his mother. And then when I found out, we actually got the principal removed because he even knew about the situation and hadn't bothered to share that information with me. So what do you see? And I guess maybe it may be different to everybody and how they perceive it. But how do you define bullying? Because there's so many, playing the dozens, and you just have your mama jokes.
Right.
And when does it become, in your eyes, bullying?
Whenever it's uninvited, unwanted, aggressive behavior against another human being, it is bullying in any form.
And that's all throughout life. Even
Right,
as
it's not
adults,
just-
there's people that
exactly.
you can still,
Yes.
term as a bully.
I've gotten quite a few emails from adults being bullied on their jobs, they say.
Absolutely.
Yes.
What
Absolutely.
about on the pageant circuit? Any bullying? Any fights?
Yes. Yes.
You definitely have, these ladies who are characterized as being the sure thing, and they have a pompous attitude about them, and it's a mild form of bullying. It's kind of an indirect way, but not quite as severe nowadays, simply because of the cyber-related issues, and you can destroy someone now at the touch of a button. It's not like it used to be where it'd take a month or two, or did you hear about so-and-so? Now it can go viral. Twitter and all these other social media opportunities can destroy a person overnight. So it's gotten better because now you don't have to say who told you. You can put it out there pretty quickly.
I think it's interesting because there's I think so many lines and gray areas. It's like I was talking to one of the parents from my son's basketball team, and I was like, it's like we encourage kids kind of to bully, at least try to get in somebody's head, and you want to, talk your game and take them out of their game.
Right.
And, it's all very dangerous and murky water, I think, that when we encourage our kids to somehow be mean to another kid for the sake of competition or being better or being smarter and that sort of thing.
In fact, do you remember the little cartoon with Pie Pie and Brutus. That was a form of bullying. Little guy gets beat down all the time by big guy. And it was an admirable cartoon. I think people love that cartoon. I think parents encouraged it. Not then did they know that that was bullying. It still goes on in a very unified way, and it's called on the football field, I'll take my aggression out on someone I don't like. We'll take it to the court. But it happens, and we actually applaud it in some ways.
And then in some cases, it ends with suicide and all kinds of things, and that's when it's really scary. And how do you, as a parent, especially if you have a son, how do you keep them from how do you know that it's crossing over to
what is it when your child is the bully? Are you talking about that?
No, I'm talking
when your child is being bullied.
If they're being bullied, and you might say, well, to a boy especially, you just have to go, you just have to deal with it or something like that. When do you know that it's time for you to step in as a parent, or to even seek some kind of professional help?
You should step in from day one. It gets worse, and I'm telling you, if your kid tells you once, it probably didn't go away. Mm-hmm. If things start to get worse, and a lot of times boys will not tell their parents. They feel like they let their father down, especially if they have to admit to they're getting beat up or handled by another child. So it's a lot less reported by young males. It really doesn't even matter the age. Mm-hmm. You should step in immediately. As soon as the signs are there, you should go to the school. Documentation should be done accordingly. At no point should you just say, well, he's not complained about it. How are things in school? Pretty good. Always follow up. Another thing that you can get done within your schools is what's now known as a bullying box. You can quietly, non-discreetly, put things in the box that are taking place. And you should instigate and do that in your schools. I mean, I say everyone should initiate that in their school. The PTA can get it started in the school, and you will find out more than you ever thought you would find out.
Yeah, I think it's just a scary time now, because it's like back when we were growing up, you meet somebody at 3:00 out, on the schoolyard, and you work it out. And it's like now things are so dangerous, not only with the kids, but, their parents are crazy too.
Exactly.
That's right.
And that's the scariest part.
Yeah, I was going to say on the school ground, I'm glad you brought that up. Back when we were in school, yes, you take it out to the school ground. Now, if you take a fight out to the school ground, there's a citation written, okay? As a result, your parents have to go to court for that. That's the law that Kirk Smalley and I are going to put in place. He already went to Congress and met with the president. I met with the president recently as well, shared my vision with him, and told him about the celebrity golf tournament that we're doing that I want him to be a part of. And we're going to Congress to get the same law implemented. In other words, when there's an identified bully, when you're not guessing this is a known bully who causes havoc every day of some, brings misery to some child's life. When that happens and that child is reprimanded, at a certain point, and we're fine-tuning what that point will be, it will go into citation, and you will have to go to court, just like you do right now.
But you know what I think the thing that bothers me, and it didn't bother me until this whole thing came up with my son, is that now there's a no tolerance rule in the schools. And even if you're not the instigator, but if you're somehow engaged in this bullying behavior, like you're defending yourself, that there's a no tolerance rule, and that if you're involved in any way, that you also will get suspended or whatever action taken against you. And I think that it puts kids that are being bullied at a terrible disadvantage, because, not only are they being bullied so they feel powerless to a certain degree, but then they can't even defend themselves if there's some aggressive behavior. And please don't think that I'm advocating violence in any way, because I'm not. But I just think that it's just another tool that's given to the bully, because they know not only will I beat you up, but then you'll get suspended too if you try to defend yourself. And that just on some level bothers me.
And that's why Ty Smalley took his life. His dad went to him finally and said, you're going to have to just stand up for yourself. Mr. Smalley had gone into the school. His wife worked at the same school that his son went to. You would think surely not, because their parent works in the school. That's a kid we'll leave alone. No. He was bullied for a couple years consecutively. There's so much documentation where he went to the school and tried to get something done about it. Finally, you know what the principal's reaction was after he felt like, well, we're not getting anywhere? Boys are going to be boys, is what he told the family. So Dad says, boys are going to be boys. I tell you what, Ty, this is what you're going to do. When he finally stood up and defended himself, well, bully gets to choose his own time. Teacher's not looking. This is my moment. Mm-hmm. Well, the victim reacts. He reacted. He went to the principal's office. He got suspended. The point you made. And when he just knew, when he got home, his parents would be so disappointed in the suspension. He couldn't face him.
Oh, God.
Okay. So give it that's okay. So what are some steps that people can take to kind of eliminate, or if they are the victim of bullying, or parents find out that their child is a victim of bullying, what are some of the first steps that they need to take to try to rectify the situation?
Well, the first step is to go ahead and take it to the office, whether you feel that you're going to get something done or not, because believe it or not, we are making headway. There was a time when you would have taken this information to the office and nothing would have been done. So the first step is to tell an adult. Your parent should then take it straight to the office, to administration. It needs to be documented. It needs to be checked again. It doesn't need to be put on a shelf and assume that the teacher is going to do what she's supposed to do. Everyone's involved is going to do what they're supposed to do. That's why we're bringing education to the public. Everyone needs to be educated. The cafeteria worker, the CEO of the company, everyone involved in a child's life needs to know how to react. And the children need to keep themselves around other children, because generally when those bullies react and do the most, they do it around the environment where they feel safe into.
Wow.
Okay, real quick, because we kind of touched on this. If you fear that your child is a bully, how do you deal with that? I mean, how do you nip that in the bud before it gets to a serious situation?
It definitely needs to be addressed. Mm-hmm. What we've learned is most bullies were bullied themselves. Mm-hmm. A lot of their parents bully them. Mm-hmm. Yeah. So that's a real difficult task, because you're probably dealing with a child who is exposed to violence himself, not necessarily, but in most cases. Mm-hmm. However, the parent who is proactive and is adamantly opposed to bullying does need to address it, even if it involves counseling, and the proper repercussions need to apply. I know that's different for every household. Mm-hmm.
Yeah, but I think counseling, and we're going to have to wrap it up, but I think counseling is a big thing that you brought up, because I think even, as we talked about briefly, even if you've been bullied as a child, you do carry that, I think, to some extent throughout your childhood. And then even if it's extensive talking at home, counseling at the school, or an outside therapist, they really do, bullies and those being bullied really do need to get some extra help to work out whatever issues that's caused.
We're providing that with M.O.B as well.
Well, good. Give us the website so we can find out all that information.
Yes. It's mothersopposingbullying.org. And once bullying has been identified, there's a 5-step program. We actually are going into the schools for you, and we're doing that through the laws that we're getting implemented with M.O.B.
All right. Yeah. Can you hold the crown up, please? Mary and I have been looking at the crown. It's Miss Texas, Belinda Ramsey. Can you touch the crown? That's beautiful. Congratulations, and thank you.
Oh, absolutely.
Thank you.